gosh.
You don't know what a rubber match is.
I have been around baseball, Cardinals baseball, and KMOX enough to know what a rubber match is.
Because
if
not.
you don't pick that up, you're in real trouble. This is baseball heaven.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you knew it.
I know what a can of corn is.
You do know what a can of corn is.
Yeah, if I know what a can of corn is, I should know what a rubber match is.
And you even know the origin of it.
Yeah, I do. I
cool.
love etymological histories. At any rate, I think this is a good sign to come for sports this week, which would mean the baseball game today, the Blues game tomorrow night, which will most likely be an 8:45 puck drop. They're saying 8:30. In the postseason, it's about 8:45, 8:50. So drink your afternoon coffee. Go get a cold brew. You're going to need it. Let the kids stay up late.
It is, by the way, pretty outrageous. Central Time to be forcing people to stay up and watch a game that starts at 8:45. I am. But I'm unusual. Most people are not like that. Most people like to be in bed by 10.
So I love playoff timing for puck drop because it's just all over the board. I will say in 2019, I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like every game at Enterprise started at 8:30. There's so many late games because of the way they're stacking the games for broadcast. Sunday, it's noon.
Yeah, I don't.
A little odd, and which is fun for downtown St. Louis because you're going to have the Blues game at noon. You're going to have the Cardinals game against the Brewers at 1:15. I am going to both games. I feel like Tom Ackerman. Is this how Tom Ackerman feels all the time?
So you're going to go watch a little bit of Cardinals and then head to the Blues? Or watch Blues and then when it's over?
And then watch the Cardinals. I'll miss the first few innings, obviously, of the Cardinals game, which is a bummer, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to feel like Tom Ackerman because he's Mr. Sports, right?
You know, I don't feel like any sporting event should start before, unless it's football.
Yeah.
On a Sunday, there should not be 12 o'clock anything.
You don't
Well, this one's going to be on TBS, which is why they're doing the whole... Yeah. That's why they're playing it at noon.
I was just going to say, what about football? But you did put that caveat there.
NFL, why? I don't know. NFL, there's something about a noon start NFL.
I'm okay with noon baseball. Hockey is an evening sport. I don't know how to describe it. I am fine with noon football. I am fine with noon baseball. But hockey is an evening sport. Here's the music equivalent. I went to Lou Fest several years ago. One of my favorite bands is The National. They've been described as the soundtrack to depression, but they're really good. They're kind of dark. They're moody. They're brooding. And they played at 4 p.m. on a summer afternoon.
That's not
so
fun.
It's hot. Yeah. It's sunny. And he's singing depressing songs. It didn't go over at all. It would be like...
It's not a good time for that.
It wasn't. It didn't go. And that's kind of... I feel like noon hockey... kind of feels like listening to the National at 4 p.m.
I agree with you. It's an unnatural time for it.
It's an unnatural time. Hockey is a night sport. You think, whoa, you were just complaining about 8:45. I know. I would much rather have an 8:45 puck drop.
There is such a thing as a happy middle. Can't we do something at a normal time like 6? How about 6 o'clock? How about 7 p.m.?
Hockey was made for between 7 and 8. But I will say, I like the 8:45 puck drop more than the noon puck drop. Again, hockey is just an evening sport. Right now, though, last night, I was singing It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year, dancing around my little apartment because there is so much playoff hockey. And it just goes all night long because the Vegas Golden Knights, I want to say their game started at 10:30 last night, our time.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Here's what I hope happens tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm off on Friday, so you don't have to worry about me. I'll get all the rest I need. But I hope that tomorrow night's game goes to quadruple overtime. I hope that game ends at like 1 a.m. Don't you? I'll tell you this much. This is a thing.
Fun to talk about it.
This is a thing I really do love. And it doesn't happen all that often. But if you have a Friday night or a Saturday night and you're out on the town, I love when there's a good hockey game that goes into multiple overtimes while you're out, and everybody else who may not even care about the game. It could be any hockey game. They don't really care. But then they start watching because they realize it's an overtime and it can end at any moment. And then you have this like all of you are watching the same thing. There's a camaraderie that starts up, that develops.
Well, then
with all
it turns
these strangers.
into survival.
I love it.
Then it turns into survival if you're at the rink, because all of the concession stands close down. So you could be 3 or 4 overtimes in, which is hours without any food or drink. It's a weird setup.
Well, those people need to go home. They can't be there forever.
It is very exciting. And so last night I was keeping an eye on the Tkachuks. Matthew Tkachuk with the Florida Panthers taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. That guy is an absolute beast. I think he's the consummate hockey player to me. If you had to, and I tweeted this out, if you had to build the apotheosis of a hockey player, everything a hockey player should be, not just a goal scorer, but just the entire aura of a hockey player, I would build Matthew Tkachuk. And of course, he had been injured at the Four Nations tournament, and so now he is back on the ice, scored a couple of goals. Brady Tkachuk playing with the Ottawa Senators. They lost to the Toronto Maple Leafs in overtime. But of the Tkachuks, I do just really like Matthew. He's fun to watch. And the Florida Panthers are a good team. Craig Berube, by the way, behind the bench for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Mike Yeo, another familiar face. He's an
Mike Yeo.
He's an assistant coach for the Ottawa Senators.
I keep forgetting about Mike Yeo.
Yeah. So there was Mike Yeo there behind the bench for the Senators, and Craig Berube behind the bench for the Maple Leafs.
Love that guy. This message from YouTube. Mm-hmm. Somebody is watching us on YouTube and says, hockey also should not be played in warm weather ever.
Okay, well,
don't tell the Lightning that, because they get to play in warm weather and they're always good. I mean, not always, but they win cups.
Here's the thing. Warm weather hockey is the hockey equivalent of cold weather baseball.
I love cold weather baseball. You and I both like it.
I love cold baseball. Yeah. And I get it that cold baseball has a nostalgia and a feel that probably surpasses warm hockey, in the sense that you just come out of the rink sticky. You know, it's like, it's cold, and you walk out of the humidity and you're sticky. Yeah. But basically, if you are playing warm hockey, at least in St. Louis, it means you're in the playoffs. That's what you want. You want warm hockey. You want hot hockey. It's going to be hot if you're going to win the Stanley Cup. And I will say, I didn't realize this, but the past 5 Stanley Cup finals have all had a Florida team in them. Tampa Bay, Florida Panthers, Florida Panthers. Florida's been crushing it.
I don't know what it is down there. Because honestly, ice does not do well in the heat.
I know. I don't even know how they're playing.
I don't get it. It's wild. How does this happen? Hey, we're going to do a thing tomorrow. We have a topic we want to get into tomorrow, so we need your submissions for it.
Yes, we do.
And this came up because I think Pajeski,
our illustrious producer, Matt Pajeski, who is not here today because he is saving the world.
Kyle Sixta's in.
Yes. Kyle didn't want to save the world today.
No, he didn't.
But Matt Pajeski.
They gave him a choice. Do you want to save the world on Earth Day, or do you want to go to the Chris and Amy show? So I'll go to the studio.
Which was the right decision.
Yeah, of course.
It was the right decision. But Matt Pajeski, he organized the whole Earth Day cleanup.
Yeah.
Matt Pajeski, you know, the kid, he's barely 12.
Let's stop. Let's stop. Nobody cares. Here's the point. We're going to be talking about this tomorrow, and he brought it up. And I thought, this is a really great topic.
Yeah.
And then it occurred to me that most things that I feel this way about are gone out of the game. But he said there are a lot of things about baseball that annoy him.
And he's a big baseball fan.
And he's a big baseball fan, big Cardinals fan. But he said there are a lot of things about the game that annoy him. And we want to know from you. I mean, you might be a baseball fan and love it, a Cardinals fan. If you're listening, you're probably a Cardinals fan. And if you are, tell us what about the game of baseball annoys you. And I have to be honest, I have said this, and we'll talk about it again tomorrow. I think most of the things that really bother me about the game are over. Pitchers don't hit anymore. I hated it. I'm so glad that's over.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad the games don't last forever anymore because they have a pitch clock. So the 2 things about the game I did not like have been fixed. So I have no complaints.
Really?
But I'll think about it. So if you have something that bothers you about what annoys you about baseball, let us know what it is. Text us at 314-436-7900, or you can tweet at us at Chris Amy KMOX. We need to take a break because we're late for that. It is the Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM.
All right, if you are dealing with plantar fasciitis or knee pain, heel pain, whatever it is, I've got great news for you. You do not have to spend hundreds of dollars for custom insoles and spend all that time. Nope. You can go to Fleet Feet Sports. They have 5 area locations. Go to Fleet Feet Sports and ask them for Superfeet insoles. Superfeet insoles are a game changer, lifesaver, whatever superlative you want to use for me. I have, and this is honest to goodness, I've run and hiked 50,000 miles in my Superfeet insoles. I've been wearing them since 2006. So all of those marathons, all of the ultra marathons, all of the hiking trips with Noah, I'm wearing my Superfeet insoles. I wear the green ones. Those are for high arches, but there are blue ones for low arches, and there's other colors too. And you can also actually now get a more custom fit. My green insoles are $60, which is insane to me. It's the best money you'll spend to protect your feet and your knees. Again, 5 area locations, Fleet Feet Sports, tell them Amy sent you, St. Charles, Chesterfield, De Pere, South County, and O'Fallon, Missouri.
Some people follow the rules, but where's the fun in that? I'm Soraya, and this is Rule Breakers, the podcast where we celebrate the rebels, the risk takers, and the ones who make their own way. Every week, I sit down with the boldest voices in sports, entertainment, and beyond to talk about breaking barriers, defying expectations, and rewriting the rules. No limits, no apologies, just real talk. Follow and listen to Rule Breakers with Soraya, an Odyssey podcast available now for free on the Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here. If you were misled or lied to in any way when buying a timeshare, right now is your wake-up call. With the tariffs, economy tanking, and inflation rising, you might need to ask yourself this question. Is owning a timeshare a good idea? With all the economic uncertainty, you need to protect yourself and your family. Don't look back and say, if I'd have only got rid of that stupid timeshare they lied to me about. It's time to stop thinking about canceling your timeshare and finally get rid of it and be smart with your money. At Wesley Financial Group, we've saved 48,000 families an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare permanently or you'll pay nothing.
Call Wesley for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-854-4040. 800-854-4040. 800-854-4040.
I don't know if you heard with them, these energy mandates. Luckily, this year they stopped the continuation of this government mandates, but the new refrigerants did not stop, so that is out. So be careful, buyer beware on what you're purchasing. If you're looking for a new system and just want a common sense approach to
drug dependence, or long recovery times. See nationally recognized specialists right here in Missouri at BlueTailMedicalGroup.com. That's BlueTailMedicalGroup.com.
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays at 1 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Tell your smart speaker, if you have Alexa or whatever her name is, Echo, whatever you got, tell it to play KMOX and it will. And if you say, hey, play the Chris and Amy show, it'll play like the last episode, I think. So
Really?
It will play us. Definitely. It'll find it. But it's best you just get
Either
the Odyssey
way,
app.
we're getting played.
So you're getting played. We
I
were
love
talking
this
about
conversation.
Well, hold on. We were talking about
Oh, sorry.
what annoys you about baseball,
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah.
And we're going to really get into it tomorrow. We want Matt Pajeski to be here for the conversation. And I said that the two things about the game that annoyed me the most are out. So games don't last 8 hours anymore because they have the pitch clock. Awesome addition to the game. And pitchers no longer hit, which I hated because pitchers can't hit. And then we have Philip on YouTube who is commenting that Adam Wainwright was a pretty good hitter.
True.
What do you think Adam Wainwright's career batting average was?
160.
190.
Oh.
His OPS for his career was 510. Let me just go ahead and tell you that is horrifically bad. That's very, very, very
I'm
bad.
on Philip's
I love
side.
Adam Wainwright. Crappy hitter. In the major league level, he couldn't. Okay, maybe he did it when he was younger. Maybe he was really good at it. But big league pitchers can't hit. Don't say Shohei Ohtani, because Ohtani is an everyday player, and he's an everyday hitter too. Pitchers don't get the opportunity to be everyday hitters unless there's a DH.
Honest question.
Yes.
Is Shohei a hitter who can pitch like all get out, or a pitcher who can hit like all get out?
I think he's a better hitter than he is a pitcher, but he is still a good pitcher.
Okay.
But he's, again, the game is stacked against pitchers being good at hitting, because in order to be a good hitter, you need to do it more than once every 5 days. You can't just hit and then sit down for 4 days and do nothing and then come back and try and hit again. You'll never be successful at it.
So can I give my complaint, which was Matt's complaint? Because I know people are going to come back tomorrow and keep adding their complaints. And I think sometimes you just need to get the juices flowing. An aperitif. I think this is our aperitif today with what annoys you about baseball, because this is what annoys me about baseball. Matt brought up that all the dimensions of the ballparks are different, and how there are hitters' ballparks and pitchers' ballparks, and how a ballpark should be a ballpark, so a home run is a home run. I kind of agree, and this is why it bothers me. I'm going to call it, remember the Green Monster in Fenway?
Or as you call it, the Green Giant.
The Green Giant in Fenway. The Green Giant. Whenever a ball hits the Green Giant in Fenway, it annoys me, because that should have been a home run. And so that's the type of thing, which I think is that what Matt is talking about, the unequal, what's the word I'm looking
Dimensions?
for? Yeah, but not the dimensions, but not unequal, but a word like all of the dimensions are different.
Asymmetrical?
In each ballpark.
So,
because how does that not skew the numbers for a game that is all about the numbers, and like he's a home run hitter? Well, yeah, because the ballpark was 100 feet smaller than the other ballpark.
It does, but if you can hit, you're still going to be able to hit no matter what ballpark you're in. Here's the thing about a ballpark like Fenway. Fenway was built in an area where they had no choice, right? And you could probably say, well, why didn't they build somewhere else? People back when those ballparks were built weren't very forward thinking about, maybe this isn't the best place for this, or they just built wherever they had the space or wherever they had the real estate, right?
Are you saying
things
they're
are
idiots?
a little, huh?
Are you calling them idiots?
Sometimes, but that's where the ballpark had to go. So because there's a street right there, right on the other side of it.
Yeah.
So in order to even it out, you had to raise the fence. But I kind of like the quirkiness of it. What I don't like is what Houston did when they built their ballpark, and they had all the land in the world, and they decided to make it quirky on purpose. I don't like that.
Yeah.
They built that dumb. They had a hill in the outfield in the grass where the flag. That was so stupid.
Yeah.
That was so dumb.
That's like when people
they got rid of it, but it used to be there.
That's like when a person tries to give themselves their own nickname.
Yeah.
Like people call me Razzle Dazzle. No, they don't. No one calls you Razzle Dazzle.
First of all, if somebody can give themselves a nickname, they are not calling themselves Razzle Dazzle. Because that does not sound the way you think it sounds.
I think Razzle Dazzle. Well, here's the reason why. It's a hockey term. When David Perron scores goals, we know David Perron, he was on the Blues 3 times. When David Perron scores goals, he's got a lot of razzle dazzle.
Yeah, he don't want to be called Razzle Dazzle.
You don't want to be called Mr. Dangles.
Nobody wants that either.
But you are in hockey. You're Dangles McGee in hockey.
Okay.
Everything in hockey has to be in context, otherwise it sounds obscene.
Hockey is weird. What is hockey? Why do we have it?
What is
Blues play tomorrow, by the way.
What's the deal with hockey? Why are they playing it at noon?
Yeah, why are they playing it at noon? I hate it. What I love is Cardinals baseball, and we do have a ball game today coming up at 11:15. Pre-game show is at 10:20, so we don't have a whole lot of time, you and us together. So thank you for listening in. When we come back, we are going to talk to the voice of the Cardinals, who will be joining us from Atlanta, where the Cards play their finale against the Braves today. It's a Chris and Amy show. John Rooney is next on KMOX.
From chili cook-offs to Friday night football, Belleville knows how to show up. And now, so does KMOX on one.
play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
Now, the John Rooney Conversation on KMOX. Sponsored by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you're a Missourian, we're for you.
The 3-2 pitch with a runner at third. 2 outs. Nootbaar swings and singles to right field to make it 10-4. Victor Scott, he's able to cross.
Good win for the Cardinals last night in Atlanta. They've got another ball game today. We got the pregame show coming up here on KMOX at 10:20. Then an 11:15 first pitch. It is the finale of this series before they have the off day tomorrow, then come back home on Friday. And we go to the guest line this morning, and we welcome in that voice you just heard. It is the play-by-play voice of the Cardinals. John Rooney is with us on KMOX. Hello, John.
Hello, Chris. I think you're missing the point on the pitcher batting.
I am?
A lot.
Oh, here we go. Uh-oh.
With the pitcher batting, everybody's pitcher bats.
Yeah.
You move runners. The pitcher can help himself in that regard. And a 190 average for a starting pitcher is pretty good, and he did some damage and won some games and helped his cause. But it also might come to a point in the game where a pitcher's pitching really well, but his team is tied or down by a run, and you have to pinch hit and get that guy out of there, which affects the outcome of the game. So I guess you're a little bit bothered by having to think or something. I don't know.
I love this National
Get
League.
him,
It's
John.
the
Get
thinking
him.
man's game.
Get him, John.
Come on.
That's the whole thing. There's a lot more strategy to it, and it's a lot more interesting than having, here's the DH, slug away.
Yeah, I don't like
it. And that's why I kind of liked it being in one league and not in the National League. If you like the DH, watch it over there. If you don't, then the pitchers are batting and the wheels are turning, and that way the bullpens are used. Your bench is used more because you have guys who can come off the bench and do a good job, like Steve Braun did for the Cardinals once upon a time, a guy named Lenny Harris. These guys were excellent pinch hitters, and way back in the day, Bob Skinner was an excellent pinch hitter for the Cardinals in the 60s. And Bob Gibson wasn't a bad hitting pitcher either. He hit a home run against the Red Sox in the World Series, and he hit that one over the monster or the Green Giant out in left center field.
The Green Giant.
I did call it the Green
I get
Giant.
it, John. I totally get the argument. I know all the arguments for the National League style. I don't like it. I think the pitching is too good now, and the game is stacked against somebody who doesn't get the opportunity to hit every day. And the reason Shohei Ohtani can do this is because he does get to take every day at bats. And I didn't like the idea of basically an automatic out in the lineup in everybody's lineup.
But it's not necessarily an automatic out. If a guy sacrifices, that's not a time at bat. And yes, it is an out, but it moves a runner or runners along and sets up an opportunity to score. But the other team's pitcher has to bat too. And the pitcher likes to have someplace up and down the lineup where he can get an out or two to have to deal with the big guys. And it just evens out the game to me, where now you have a whole bunch of hitters in there, and you can put the DH anywhere you want in the lineup, and it's mash away city. And 11 to 10 games sometimes that can be exciting, but I also like a 3-2 or a 4-3 final every now and then because the pitching was really good and they had to scratch out a run, and they probably scratched out a run by moving a runner from second to third, got a sacrifice fly, and won a tight ball game that can help you win your division maybe later down the road. I just like that thinking part of the game and looking ahead. You're not looking ahead just one or two batters. You're looking ahead maybe 1 or 2 innings or 3 innings and seeing what's left in your bullpen and what's left on your bench. And the better bench sometimes wins out. But that's gone, and we have the DH. So, it's their game. I embrace it. It's fun. It's still a good game, but it just adds another element where that's a tough guy to get out. And I'm not sure overall the pitching is better or not, because we don't have guys going 7, 8, 9 innings like we used to. And we haven't had guys going 9 innings for a long time now. But I do like to see pitchers go a little deeper in the game so that bullpen, so the guys out there can at least scratch their necks by the All-Star break.
Well, John, I in general am uptight, old-fashioned, and resistant to change in general. So I like a lot of the traditions in baseball. But along that lines of our conversation of something that bothers you about the game, is there something that annoys you about the game or that you would change?
It doesn't matter because I'm not making the rules, and I don't change it. It doesn't matter that if I don't like it, what am I going to do? Tear the game down? That's ridiculous because there are so many things about it I do like.
Yeah.
But the guy at second base, I kind of wish they put the runner at second maybe in the 11th or the 12th inning and make them play straight up and have to earn their way on base before that. I think it gives the visiting team a little bit of an advantage. I think the visiting team has slightly won more games. It's Science Day here, and there's a guy down there.
I heard that. We heard it.
Someone got murdered.
No, that wasn't Ricky Horton coming through the door with the manager's show.
What?
Ollie was in a good mood today after the win last night. But it's Science Day here.
So
and,
what?
Wasn't it
so we
weather
have
day
science.
last
We have
night?
weather at home. Now we have science here.
John, what science were they demonstrating with that scream?
I think he's trying to blow up a gallon of vinegar or something. I don't know what he has down there.
He was tired of listening to Ranj complain about pitchers hitting.
I don't have to. It's over. I got
Yeah.
what I wanted. I'm good.
I think it's fun to look. What I love about baseball are all the quirks.
Because we lost the DH the other day because of injury.
Yeah.
And as it turned out, that got our pitcher out of the game who may have had another inning left. But it worked out because Michael Ciani came in that spot and played defensively in center field and made the move for Walker, but now Ciani's not here. And I think it's a good idea that Walker gets a little more time in the late innings in the outfield because of his development. He is so much better in right field and has come so far so fast that I think he's going to get better and better every day. And he has a pretty good arm out there, too.
Yeah, you mentioned everybody's in a good mood today, and that's one of those games that, for an April game, it kind of felt like you needed to have that one because it had already, with the 5-game losing streak, it had gotten too far out of hand. So to get that win last night and to do it the way they did, decisively, coming up with the big hits and leaving no doubts, that's a great win, John.
And I think it goes back to the night before where they got to see Raisel Iglesias, their closer. They put up 3 runs on him on 3 hits, and Contreras hit a home run, his second of the year. And a weird ending to the game when Arenado's a little more than a half swing tapped the ball in front of the plate. Murphy picked it up and tagged him out. If Arenado goes deep right there, the Cardinals are back in front. It was a good game, but one that got out of hand with a 5-run 8th inning, only to come back to a 1-run loss. I think they played off that 9th inning yesterday, and they were able to score 2 in the 3rd, and Newbar hit a 2-run homer. They got 2 in the 6th to tie it up, then 3 runs in the 8th, 3 in the 9th. And I like the way this team goes about its at-bats late in the game, and I really don't think they care if they're ahead or behind when they go to the plate. They have the same approach. They're trying to put a good at-bat on that pitcher, and I think it is showing some early returns that when this team does that, it's a pretty exciting team.
John, this is kind of a 30,000-foot view. I'm a hockey background, so I've been watching a lot of.
I couldn't tell.
Hockey Amy's been out today.
Amy, yeah. But so I've been watching playoff hockey and just kind of thinking of the differences of the coaching / managerial styles between baseball and hockey. And you brought up that baseball and with the pitchers batting back in the day, that it's a thinking man's game. And it does feel like baseball truly is chess, and all the pieces have their designated roles, but all the pieces are going to execute slightly differently, right? You have a different team, they're going to execute differently. And so the way a manager affects a game, to me, is much more like chess, much more than hockey is.
Well, I think having your bench coach handy and thinking ahead for you, that's a big plus. Daniel Descalzo has a lot on his plate, just as Oliver Marmol did when he was bench coach, and thinking ahead to who they might pinch hit in a certain situation. And you have to have a reliever face 3 batters now. That's a little bit different from what we experienced 5 years ago, 5 or 6. But that's all right. I think that makes it kind of interesting, and you have to plot your strategy. It's still a thinking person's game. And unless you take a look 2 or 3 innings down the road and see what the possibilities happen to be, then I think one is going to be surprised if you get to the 8th or the 9th and you're not ready for it. Believe me, these managers and coaches are ready for it.
Miles Michaelis is going to start, and for the Cardinals, this is somebody they really need to do well this year, or they're hoping they're going to get innings out of him. He's 0-2 so far. What have you seen as you've watched him pitch this year?
Well, he's trying to miss a few more bats. That's the one thing where he throws strikes, doesn't walk many. But there have been many pitches out over the plate or where they could extend their arms and really drive the ball and hit him hard. But other times he's getting a little swing and miss now on his breaking ball, and that helps set up his fastball and his other pitches. So if he can do that today against this Atlanta lineup and give the Cardinals 6 innings, that would be great because they had to use Matz last night. I think the idea was perhaps to hold Matz to back up Michaelis today. But the way the game worked out last night, Palante didn't go very deep, and Matz came in, and he was the winning pitcher.
All right, John Rooney today. We've got the pregame show coming up very, very soon, 10:20. We'll have that, then the 11:15 first pitch. John Rooney, Ricky Horton on the call today. We are looking forward to some daytime baseball, John, and we appreciate it as always.
I don't know. I think the Gatorade jug is in peril now.
Uh-oh. Why? What are they doing?
Something going on down there.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Maybe
this guy has his white lab coat on, his green hair, his red boots, and he has a beach ball down there with it. It's Science Day.
Wow.
They're blowing stuff up on the field?
Well, I don't know if they're blowing stuff up. There's a little smoke coming out of the Gatorade container now. And
wow.
But he picked it up, and he's walking with it like a football under his arm.
Okay.
Oh, there it goes.
Oh. Wait, how did it go?
He's shooting smoke signals out to the crowd now. Wow, what a day, what a game, what a team.
I think that means we have a
I tell you, this is exciting. I got to tell you, it's hard being me.
Well, your Dangerfield. That's not bad.
Oh, Well,
John Rooney.
We just watched the Triple Lindy Back to School.
Yeah, next.
Yes. Oh, Back to School is awesome.
Oh, I was visiting with my parents, and I come downstairs, go to the family room. My dad's watching Back to School, and he's taking the big exam where he's trying to get all the answers right.
Oh, exactly. And I had a couple of job interviews like that where I was at one end of the room and they were lined up at a table about 50 feet away. I know what he was going through. But call me sometime when you have no class.
What? I'm just now finding out Rooney's got a Dangerfield.
How are you just finding that out?
I didn't know. He's never done it for me before.
Well,
I'll tell you, we don't have floss in our kitchen because we're afraid the roaches will hang themselves,
What?
Oh, my wife's cooking. It's so bad the flies got together and fixed the screen door. Can't beat Rodney.
John, I tell you,
my high school was so tough that when they sacked the quarterback, the football team got up and went after his family.
I had no idea.
John, could you please do the first inning like this?
Oh, here's the pitch. No respect. That was a strike. Come on, what are you talking about? Right down the middle. I know the feeling, buddy.
I think Rooney, if you do a manager interview, but it's Rodney Dangerfield interviews Ali Marmol, I think that would be a hit. I think that would be a real hit.
Oh, I don't know.
You can't back off.
Yeah,
now.
You just started this all right, I'm done now.
Amy, you took it too
know.
far. You took it too far. It was funny, Amy, until you said that stupid thing.
Yeah, you really did. And we'll have to send you back to the Green Giant in Boston or something.
She called it the Green Giant.
Well, because
he hit, and so J.C. Homer is over the Green Giant.
Well, because John, I touched the Green Giant
the Green Giant tried to knock it down.
Touch the Green Giant. He did not like it.
He did not like it.
Oh my.
They let you on the field when you run the Boston Marathon, John. Everybody got to go and tour Fenway. It was a lot of fun.
Well, Fenway's a neat park.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm glad all the parks are not the same.
There you go.
Yeah, see, I agree.
You got to let Pajeski know he's wrong, John.
Yeah.
He knows it.
John, have a good call today. Get us a win.
Tell Matt I said hello.
We will.
Bye now.
Thank you, John. John Rooney. I didn't know he did a Rodney Dangerfield.
Well,
He's been holding back on us.
20 minutes and then
did a whole routine.
That was pretty good.
And then we asked him to do it for the manager, and he said, "Come on,
Amy.
we're not doing that."
Yeah,
If he
you
does,
idiot, Amy.
just one hitter today, one hitter, give me a Rodney Dangerfield call.
I mean, it would be so good.
Everybody would love it.
Everybody would love it.
Did you see this? Is next on KMOX.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events, so call your Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance agent or visit mofbinsurance.com to find an agent near you, and we'll make sure you have the right coverage for each of life's wins.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. We're for Missouri families and Missouri communities. We're for giving back to those communities and lifting people up. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, we're for helping put back the pieces. We're for brighter days and new tomorrows. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you live in Missouri, we're for you.
Since we opened our doors, UC Bank has been committed to the communities we call home. Building financial wellness, UC is proud to offer customized lending strategies and innovative resources to our vibrant communities. UC Bank, building community one family, one street, one city at a time. Member FDIC.
Did you know that ants are the number one most difficult pest to control? This is as rated by pest control operators across the country. Here's what you know about ants. If you see one ant, there's likely an army. So here's what you need to do. You need to visit Rottler.com. Rottler will determine the type of ant and their nesting sites to develop the most effective solution to eliminate the infestation at the source. I have been there where you see one ant in the kitchen, right, crawling across the countertop, and you'd think, oh my gosh, oh no, this is how it's going to start. And it always seems to happen when you're having a party or having friends over or company over for dinner, and it's so embarrassing. Don't be embarrassed. Don't have to deal with ants. Don't make it one of those ongoing wars in your kitchen. Call Rottler. They'll be able to take care of the ant issue at its source and stop it for good, and they stand behind their work with the Rottler Promise. Visit them today at Rottler.com.
Join KMOX broadcasting live from Chesterfield Valley Nursery, Saturday, April 26th from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Take advantage of special offerings for Customer Appreciation Day. Saturday, the 26th at Chesterfield Valley Nursery, just east of the entertainment complex.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
Hi, Stacy with Fairwinds Rivers Edge Senior Living in St. Charles. Are you a senior seeking a fun retirement? Do you want less work and more play? Do you want to enjoy great food that you don't have to cook? Then I know. Stop what you're doing right now and call Fairwinds. Set up a time to visit and have a meal. Meet some of our awesome residents. Check us out online at fairwindsriversedge.com. We hope to talk with you soon.
Join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and music director Stefan Deneuve for Peer Gynt, a fully staged live performance featuring the SLSO, the St. Louis Symphony Chorus, and a cast of actors, puppets, and sets. Edvard Grieg's Peer Gynt is rowdy, charismatic, and outrageous, and it is filled with laughter and love. This performance will be a theatrical experience like no other. May 3rd and 4th at Steeple Theater. Tickets at slso.org.
Cardinal Cowboy here. Years ago, doctors said I'd never be independent after a bad car accident. Well, I proved them wrong. When proving who's the best in garage doors, Renner does it every time. Whether it's service or a new door, you're covered with top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster. Keep your garage door running strong with Renner's $100 maintenance check. Or get a free replacement quote. Call or click RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
Hi, this is Steve Butts with the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. I know we're all experiencing sticker shock when you get your insurance premium. Now more than ever, you need an independent insurance agent to find the best value for your family's insurance needs. Crawford Butts, family owned and operated for more than 60 years. Please give us a call at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com.
I'm Megan Lynch. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
So you know how FanDuel Sports Network, Amy, has the subscription thing, and then you can pay, I forgot what the number is. You can pay per month or you can pay for the entire season, and it's cheaper if you do it for the season. Well, Masson, you've heard of Masson, have you?
No.
That's where the Baltimore Orioles play.
Okay.
It is the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network, so it is their FanDuel Sports Network, just like we have. So their price for the entire season for Masson Plus is $89.99. Well, because of some sort of glitch, many Baltimore Orioles fans who paid for the full season of Masson were charged not $89.99, but $8,999.
No.
Because of some sort of mistake.
Decimal point error.
This is not a mundane detail, Michael.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, of course they fixed it, but can you imagine getting your bill and you go, $8,999?
I can, because one of my friends, one time we got coffee at a local coffee shop, and he used his, company card to buy us coffee. And of course, a company card is going to have a higher limit. And someone at the coffee shop, instead of typing in $8.95, typed in $8,950, and it went through.
Oh, dude, it went through?
Because it was a company card. I'm like, how did that go through? And the guy, he swiped the card. He goes, oh. He's like, I am so
they
sorry.
canceled the charge, right?
Well, yes, but it would take 7 to 10 days for the charge to get canceled because
Lord.
it went through. So we did get a free coffee token.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Sorry, we charged almost $9,000 on your company card.
We apologize for this inconvenience. Here's 5% off your next purchase of $100 or more.
Yep.
Hey, by the way, this is kind of off topic, but and maybe I've said this to you before, when you get the survey on the email after you do some sort of transaction and they want to know how their service was and they want you to rate them, I feel like they should give you something for that.
Yeah, I know. Nike.
Every time they ask me how was your service? I'm like, okay, I'm going to answer all these questions for you. What do I get? 5% off, 10% off, nothing? What am I getting? Because if it's nothing, I'm not taking the time for this.
I stopped mid-survey. Nike did the same thing. They said it'll take about 3 to 5 minutes. I said, okay, but there was no
incentive.
Not even a lottery.
Oh,
I'll do it for a lottery.
Yeah, go to hell with that. Hey, we got just a little bit to go before we get to the Cardinals pregame show at 10:20 and 11:15 first pitch from Atlanta today. The Cardinals wrap up the series against the Braves. It's all coming up. This is the Chris and Amy show on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Underdog Fantasy Sports. Let me talk to my NBA fans out there. We have something cool for the first time called an extender. So here are the basics. You do a pick'em on game 1. You automatically get a 40% profit boost token. Game 2, 50%. Game 3, 60%. You following me? It goes all the way up to, if there's a game 7 necessary, a 100% boost token. You can play the MLB like I do, picking the Cardinals. You can play NHL, MLS. Simply pick your player, find the statistic, pick higher or lower, and that is it. You can win up to 1,000 times. It's really fun. I've really been enjoying it. So download the Underdog app now. Sign up with promo code Glover to unlock $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code Glover. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Another RX Watch, brought to you by Onder Law.
Welcome back to RX Watch. This alert is disturbing.
Right. A while back, we learned that companies like Johnson & Johnson use a mineral called talc in baby powder and other products.
And studies show that talc, when used for feminine hygiene, can cause ovarian cancer.
Now listen to this.
by Siding Express and sidingexpress.com. Transform your home with the beauty and durability of James Hardie Siding. At Siding Express, they specialize in James Hardie siding installation. Visit sidingexpress.com today to schedule a free consultation. sidingexpress.com. It's 10:03. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Chris Raunchy, Amy Markscores, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
So, Ranj, we've been talking about Coldwater Creek and the radioactive material that has been making people sick in that area. We've had Don Chapman on from Just Moms. Of course, Senator Hawley has been pushing for cleanup of that area. Just to let people know, as a PSA, last night, CBS News National did a story on Coldwater Creek, and it's a 2-part series. Part 2 of the CBS News story on Coldwater Creek airs tonight. So I'm sure online you can get part 1, but part 2 airs tonight on the CBS Evening News. And they're talking to the people, the family, the communities who live around Coldwater Creek. I feel like every time I read about this story, whether it's been the Missouri Independent, the great work they've done, KMOX, Maria Kina, the great work she's done, I learn something new, or I hear a new story that I didn't hear before. One family who moved to that area, he told his other family members, don't move to St. Louis. Everyone on our street has tumors. Like, that was after living there and seeing people get sick. And he just thought, okay, is this St. Louis? Why is everyone sick? So just very heartbreaking, but I'm so glad that it's continuing to get more attention.
82 different spots, and this was in the piece, right? That there were 82 different spots throughout the county in St. Louis where that stuff, that material from the Manhattan Project was located. I know that we probably didn't know as much. I know we didn't know as much then as we know now about the effects of this stuff, how hazardous it actually was, maybe worse than they thought it was, though they knew it was bad, probably worse than they thought. And it's astounding to think that they can just get this material and just spread it all over the area and think that's fine. Like, it's not safe. And you know how you know it's not safe? Because they had to go through this entire ordeal to sell the stuff, to bring it down to St. Louis. They knew they had to store it somewhere. So they knew it was dangerous. And then they're just like, we'll bury it and it's fine. It's astounding that is how people used to think. And this is why, we always talk about regulations and how I am generally in favor of them. Yes, I think they can go too far. Yes, I think they can be an unnecessary burden. It can make a process cumbersome for businesses that are trying to establish themselves or, keep their business thriving. I get that. That does happen. But for the most part, the reason we have these regulations is so that companies or entities can't do stuff like this that will make people sick.
Yeah. No.
And I mean, there's no easy fix for this.
No.
But everybody who is affected by it needs to be compensated. And for a lot of them, no matter what the compensation is, it'll never make up for what they've had to go through.
Right. And the people who are sick, and I've talked about this, I hate to use the phrase, it's too late. For a lot of these people, it is too late. For the ones who've passed away, it's too late. But what can we do to help future generations? And that quote I gave you, so that was CBS News interviewing Linda Maurice. She and her family moved to St. Louis in 1957. And after her mom died, her uncle, who is a physician, he's the one that said, Linda, I don't believe St. Louis is a very healthy place to live. Everyone on the street has a tumor. Well, in Linda Maurice's family alone, her mother, father, and brother all died of cancer, and now her husband is fighting cancer.
Yep.
So,
an entire block of people doesn't just get sick unless there's something going on in that street.
So again, that's CBS Evening News covering this story. I'm so glad it continues to get more national attention. Very grateful for the work Senator Josh Hawley has done. And I know Josh Hawley was working with Representative Cori Bush on this
Yeah.
issue, which shows you how serious the issue is if those two can get along. And I know Representative Wesley Bell is going to continue working on this as well.
Yeah. I mean, if there is anything bipartisan, this is one of those things that everybody should be getting behind.
How do you feel? Are you going to do you like Trix and Fruit Loops?
Yeah. How do you not?
Okay. Will you like?
They better not get rid of that red dye number 3.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, come on, dude. You're telling me they're getting rid of red number 3?
What if your Trix and Fruit Loops were a little bit less vibrant?
I don't
What if
want it
they
then.
looked muted, like you had one of those old-timey filters on them?
I don't want it. That's it. I'm done with Trix. I'm done with Fruit Loops. Are
Well,
they
the-
getting rid of red dye number 3,
the good
Amy?
news is Trix are for kids anyway. You shouldn't be eating them.
Can I eat Fruit Loops?
Probably. So, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert Kennedy said that the government, he said this yesterday, is going to phase out all artificial dyes from the food supply by the end of next year. That's a pretty quick turnaround. Marty Makary, FDA commissioner, we have talked to Marty Makary before with Charlie Brennan multiple times. For companies that are currently using petroleum-based red dye, try watermelon
So that's
juice
number 3.
or beet juice.
Yeah.
What's
So-
number 40? 40 is the bad
40
one.
is, yes, but and that one is not, that's not a petroleum based as far as I understand.
Mhm.
And it isn't linked to cancer, but it is linked to neurological issues.
So they're getting rid of citrus red number 2 and orange B. And I will say this. They said, well, we can't prove that these have caused cancer in humans, but they're causing cancer in the rats, which doesn't seem to be great.
Well, that's why they do the testing on the rats. So that they
Right.
know it'll affect
But their
us.
defense is, well, we don't know if it's causing cancer in humans. It is causing cancer in rats.
Well, then,
What's
okay.
the point then?
What's the point of giving it to the rats?
What's the point of giving it to the rats? Because you can't say, well, it causes cancer in rats, but not humans.
That's the whole purpose.
That's the whole purpose of the rats.
Oh my gosh. These poor rats are dying for nothing.
They're eating Fruit Loops and Trix.
You know what's really funny is when we learned how science how the testing works,
Mhm.
the animal testing works. When you're a kid and you hear, they test like cosmetics and they test all these things that we use daily on rats first or on animals first. When you're a kid, you think, oh, that's awful. Why did they do that? And then I'm telling you, when we learned more about it in high school and what they did with the rats and how they used them as test subjects,
Yes.
it was so weird how I got talked into that like very quickly.
Yeah.
Like, so they do this to the rats to find out if it helps humans or not, or if it makes things bad for us. I was sold. I'm serious. Like you know what I mean? You see what I'm saying?
So you're
Like,
saying you are okay with rat testing?
it doesn't bother me the way it probably should.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. When they told you that certain makeups were tested on animals, did you always picture them?
Putting makeup on the
Yes.
animal? Yeah.
Yes, I did too.
Yeah. Just
Like
like,
the
why would they?
monkeys with mascara and lipstick on.
Why did they put blush on this mouse?
I know. The rabbit.
The eyeliner?
The rabbit comes out a little overdone. Well,
Ugh. Oh, did you get some work done? No.
As a kid, I always pictured them just putting the makeup on the animals like the makeup is intended to be used.
Is PETA going to be upset that I said I'm not that upset with rat testing?
Yes.
Like maybe, okay, I can understand. I don't know. They're rats. Rats survive everything. So I feel like they owe us one, right? Let us have a thing that we can.
Well, there's that. And all joking aside, it is not just cancer they're looking at with the dyes. They're looking at behavioral issues in
Yeah, of
kids
course.
and how it affects us. And we interviewed the Washington Post reporter who talked about ultra processed food and how it really is bad for us. I know it's approved, but your body was not made to digest these ultra processed foods and synthetic flavors and dyes. And so
No, but I do need to read more about the ultra processed. There was some report that was done by a government agency. I need to read more about this. I just heard about it in passing about a week or two ago, and that the results of the study they did showed that it wasn't as bad as has been presented,
Mhm.
and somehow this current HHS
Yeah.
I think they fired one of the people who was involved in it, and they suppressed that story. I need to find out more about that. I don't believe that processed foods are good for you.
Yeah.
But it's possible they're not as bad as advertised. But again,
this is
I need to know
where
more about it.
I'm a little conspiratorial because I don't trust Big Pharma because they give so much money to Republicans and Democrats. I think big food like sugar, corn syrup gives money to both parties. That's where I want.
Sugar's in everything.
It's in everything. And that's where I do like looking at the EU and saying, what were their studies? Why did the EU decide to ban certain processed foods and dyes? Do you know what, because it's there's got to be a conflict of interest. Whenever there's a lot of money involved, I get a little suspicious. Why did the EU ban those things? I feel like they certainly must have had some credible studies, no?
You would think so. All right, Amy, let's wrap it up for today because we got to get to Cardinals baseball.
That's right.
The pregame show is coming up, and the Cardinals will take on the Braves. That game starts at 11:15 today. So here's what you need to do. If you missed this hour plus of great programming,
it was good.
Go get the Odyssey app. And by the way, you can listen to the ball game on the Odyssey app too. It's free. Go get that. Listen to the ball game. Listen to the podcast of the show if you missed anything. And come back tomorrow at 9 o'clock for the Chris and Amy show. We go until 12 on 104.1 FM KMOX.
There's a big red barn where you say green.